It's okay. It's okay. What's the matter? What's wrong? Oh, you had a bad dream? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm here now and everything's okay. I'll make sure that nothing gets you. There's no monsters under the bed. It was just a scary dream. It's okay. It's okay. Everybody has bad dreams now and again, but that's okay. They're just dreams. They're not real. You should try to get back to sleep. You don't think you can sleep after that dream? Well, why don't we try taking your mind off of it? Yeah? Maybe I could read you a bedtime story? Okay. Well, I have this book of fairy tales, and there's all different types of fairy tales in here. We could take a look, maybe find one of your favorites in here. There are 19 tales to treasure for a lifetime. Now, what do you think you're in the mood for? We have The Emperor's New Clothes, Sleeping Beauty in the Wood, The Elves and the Shoemaker, Rapunzel, The 12 Dancing Princesses, Jack and the Beanstalk, that's a classic, Snow White, Puss in Boots, Beauty and the Beast, The Frog Prince, the Valiant Little Tailor, Red Riding Hood, The Real Princess, The Princess and the Pea, The Steadfast Tin Soldier, Cinderella, Hansel and Gretel, Rumpelstiltskin, The Snow Queen, and Thumbelina. So, what do you think sounds good? Jack and the Beanstalk? Okay. Just gotta find what page that's on. Jack and the Beanstalk, Old English. Page 46. Good few pages. Okay. Now, here's the picture. There's Jack and his cow. There was once a widow who had a son named Jack and a cow called Milky White. They were very poor and had only the milk from the cow, which they sometimes sold for food. But one morning, Milky White gave no milk at all, and they didn't know what to do. "Do not worry, mother," said Jack at last. "Today is market day. I shall take Milky White with me and sell her. She is a fine-looking cow and will fetch enough money to start us up in a trade." So he took the cow's halter in his hand and set off for town. He hadn't gone far when he met a funny-looking old man along the road. There's the funny-looking old man. "Good morning, Jack," he said. "Good morning to you," said Jack, wondering how the man knew his name. "Well, Jack, where are you off to?" "I'm going to market to sell our cow here." "You seem the sort of lad who will get a good price," said the man. "I wonder if you know how many beans make 5. "2 in each hand and 1 in your mouth," said Jack, quick as a wink. "Right you are," said the man. And here they are, the very beans themselves. He took from his pocket a number of beans unlike any Jack had ever seen before. These are magical beans. These are magical beans, Jack. Plant them at night, and by morning they'll grow right up to the sky. You don't say, said Jack. I do indeed, the stranger told him, and since you are such a clever lad, I'll happily swap them for your cow there. It's a deal, said Jack. And he handed over Milky White and pocketed the beans. Back home Jack went. It wasn't even dusk when he came through the door. Home already? His mother said. I see you haven't got Milky White, so you must have sold her. How much did you fetch, 5 pounds? Jack smiled and shook his head. 10? Jack shook his head again. Can it have been 20 pounds? Said his mother, clapping her hands with excitement. No, mother, said Jack. I got something better still. He opened his hands to show the beans. Plant them at night, and in the morning— You dolt, you idiot, his mother screamed. You gave away my Milky White, the best milker in the district, and prime beef, besides, for a handful of beans? I'll teach you. Then she threw the beans out the window, thrashed Jack soundly, and sent him to bed without his supper. In the morning, when Jack woke up, the room looked very strange. Shadows of leaves were on the walls, and the sun did not shine through the window. Quickly he got dressed and went to look outside. There, right next to the house, grew a huge beanstalk that went up and up and up until it reached the sky. Jack couldn't see the top of it, and then he knew that the man had spoken the truth. He threw open his window and climbed right into the beanstalk. It grew straight and true, just like a ladder leading up to the sky. And here's the beanstalk right outside the cabin. Higher and higher Jack climbed until he came out upon a long, broad road. So he walked along until he came to a great big tall house. On the doorstep there was a great big tall woman. Good morning to you, ma'am, said Jack politely. Could you kindly give me some breakfast? I've had nothing to eat from midday past, and it was a long walk to get here. It's breakfast you want, is it? Said the great big tall woman. It's breakfast you'll be if you don't move off from here. My man is an ogre, and there's nothing he likes better than boys broiled on toast. You'd best be moving on, for he'll soon be coming. Oh, please, ma'am, give me something to eat, said Jack. My stomach is so empty. I may as well be broiled as die of hunger. Well, the ogre's wife was not a stingy woman, so she took Jack into her kitchen and gave him bread and cheese and a jug of milk. Jack wasn't half finished with it when thump, 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 the house began to shake. Hurry, 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 the ogre's wife said. It's my man, he's coming. You can jump in here. And she pushed Jack into an oven just as the ogre walked through the door. He was a big one, to be sure. At his belt he had 3 calves strung up by the heels, and he unhooked them and threw them on the table. Here, wife, boil me a couple of these for breakfast. Ah, what's this I smell? He looked all around him and said, Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. If he's alive or if he's dead, I'll use his bones to grind my bread. Nonsense, dear, you must be dreaming, said his wife. Here, go wash up, and by the time you come back, your breakfast will be ready. Jack was about to jump out of the oven and run away when the woman told him not to. Wait until he has his nap, she said. With a great deal of munching and licking of lips, the ogre ate the calves. Then he went to a big chest and took from it 2 bags of gold. And here's the sleeping giant, and there's Jack hiding. Down he sat and counted the gold until his head began to nod and his snores shook the house. Jack crept out of the oven and grabbed one of the bags of gold. Off he ran as fast as his legs would carry him. When he reached the beanstalk, he threw the bag of gold into his mother's garden and climbed down himself. Down and down and down he climbed until he was home. See, mother, he said, handing her the bag of gold. The beans were magic, and that's all there is to it. Jack and his mother lived on the bag of gold for some time, but at last they came to the end of it. With hunger gnawing at his belly, Jack made up his mind to try his luck at the top of the beanstalk again. On a fine morning, he woke up early and got onto the beanstalk from his window. He climbed and he climbed and he climbed until he came out on the road again. Then he walked along and walked along until he saw the great big tall woman standing on her doorstep. "Good morning, ma'am," said Jack, bold as you please. "Could you be so kind as to give me something to eat?" "Go away, my boy," the big tall woman said, "or else my man will have you for breakfast." Then she drew back and looked Jack in the eye. "But aren't you the same lad who came here once before? Do you know that very day my man missed one of his bags of gold?" "That's strange, ma'am," said Jack. "I dare say I could tell you something about it, but I'm so hungry I can't speak." Well, the big tall woman was so curious that she took him into her kitchen and gave him some food. Scarcely had Jack begun to eat, then thump, 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 they heard the giant's footsteps. "Quick, into the oven with you," said his wife. In came the giant, sniffing the air and looking all around him. "Fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman," he said, as he had the first time. His wife did not let on that Jack was there, but broiled 3 oxen for his breakfast. Then the giant said, "Wife, bring me the hen that lays the golden eggs." When she did so, the ogre said, "Lay," and the hen laid an egg of solid gold. Now it was time for his nap. Soon his head began to nod, and his snores shook the house. Jack crept out of the oven, caught hold of the golden hen, and was off as fast as his legs could carry him. But this time the hen gave a cackle that woke the ogre. "Wife," he yelled, "what have you done with my hen?" "Why do you ask, my dear?" she answered, but that was all Jack heard, for he ran off to the beanstalk and climbed down faster than the first time. When he got home, he showed his mother the wonderful hen. "Just another creature to feed," she said. Then Jack said to the hen, "Lay," and it laid an egg of solid gold. And here's the hen and his mother and Jack laying the golden egg. Each day, Jack told the hen to lay another egg, and though she always did so, he still longed for adventure. At last, he decided to climb the beanstalk once more. But this time, Jack knew better than to go straight to the great big tall house, as the ogre's wife would surely betray him. Instead, he waited behind a bush until he saw her come out with a pail of water. Then he dashed into the house and hid himself in the coal scuttle. He had been there for only a short time when he heard thump, 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 and the ogre came in with his wife. And there's the ogre. "Fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman," cried the giant in a rage. "I smell him, wife, I smell him." "Do you, my dear?" she answered. "If it's that same lad who stole your bag of gold and the hen that laid the golden egg, he's sure to be in the oven." They both rushed there at once, but of course Jack wasn't there. So the ogre sat down to breakfast, but every now and then he muttered, "Well, I could have sworn," and he got up and searched the larder and the cupboards and looked behind the door, but he never thought of the coal scuttle. After he had eaten, the ogre called out, "Wife, wife, bring me my golden harp." So she brought it and set it on the table before him. Then the ogre said, "Sing," and the harp sang and went on singing until the ogre fell asleep. As soon as the ogre's snores began to shake the house, Jack lifted the lid of the coal scuttle and crept on his hands and knees over to the table. Quickly he took the golden harp, then dashed toward the door. But the harp called out loudly, "Master, master!" and the ogre woke in time to see Jack running off with his harp. There he goes running with it. Jack ran as fast as he could, and the ogre came rushing after. Closer and closer he came until Jack could feel his hot breath burning him. But Jack ran down the long, broad road and swung himself onto the beanstalk. The giant hesitated, for he did not like to trust himself to such a spindly plant. But the harp called again, "Master, master!" and the ogre followed Jack down. The beanstalk trembled and swayed beneath the ogre's weight. Jack was sorely frightened, but he was almost home now and could see his mother standing in the garden. "Mother, mother," he called out, "bring an axe, bring an axe." She came rushing up with the axe in her hands. Then she saw the ogre's legs just coming through the clouds and stood stock still with terror. But Jack jumped down and got hold of the axe and swung it at the beanstalk with all his might. With 2 chops, the beanstalk was cut in 2. The giant held on for dear life, but it was no use. He was dead as soon as he hit the ground. Then Jack and his mother buried the giant and the beanstalk with him. They became very rich from selling the golden eggs and making the golden heart play for the curious. Jack's mother's scolding tongue was still, and all their days were happy. And there's the giant falling from the beanstalk. And that's the end of that story. Did you enjoy that? Are you feeling sleepy now? You think you can get some rest? Okay. That makes me so happy. Okay. You sleep good, okay? And I hope you have sweet dreams now. Good night.